بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا وعظيمنا وحبيب قلوبنا والشفيع أنفسنا أبا القاسم محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين الذين قال الله في شأنهم: إنما يريد الله ليذهب عنكم الرجس أهل البيت ويطهركم تطهيرا. اللهم صل على. والحمد لله الذي جعلنا من المتمسكين بولاية سيدي ومولاي في كل زمان وفي كل مكان، المسمى في السماء بيسر الله الغالب، ومسمى في الأرض بعلي بن أبي طالب. الحمد لله الذي هدانا لهذا وما كنا لنهتدي لولا أن هدانا الله. أما بعد، فقد قال الله في كتابه الكريم وهو أصدق القائلين وقوله الحق: قل يا أهل الكتاب لا تغلوا في دينكم غير الحق ولا تتبعوا أهواء قوم قد ضلوا من قبل وأضلوا كثيرا وضلوا عن سواء السبيل. Brothers and sisters, before I begin, our Shia brothers in and of course the Muslimin in Gaza are undergoing serious persecution at the moment. Please, inshallah, for everyone who's personally listening, read a Surah Al-Fatiha on their behalf. Inshallah. We begin. Brothers and sisters, it's important that when it comes to any lecture, we first recognize why it is what we do, why we do what we do in terms of giving a lecture and listening to a lecture. Essentially, in giving a lecture, it's the responsibility of the speaker to tell you what is true upon Quran and Sunnah. On the responsibility of the listener, it is his responsibility to not just follow blindly what the speaker says on the minbar, but to try and fact check every single thing that this person on the minbar says. Just because, and this isn't advice just because you're listening to me right now, this is general advice. We are Shi'a, we are people with intelligence. We are not people who sit blindly, and because, oh, a Sayyid is on the minbar, or oh, an Alama, a Maulana, or whoever it may be, is on the minbar, that whenever he speaks about something, we worship what he says. We take it as gospel. This is an issue not only in the Pakistani community, it's an issue in the Arab community, it's an issue in the Persian community, and it's overall a general Shi'i attitude that needs to stop. We need to stop worshipping whatever anyone says on the minbar simply because he has a topi on his head, he has a hat on his head, or because he's a Sayyid. If I lecture, it's my responsibility as a lecturer to make sure that I'm giving you the correct understanding of Islam, the correct understanding of Tashayyu', based on Quran and Sunnah, not based on hearsay, not based off of cultural stories, not based off of, well, my father said that he heard someone on the minbar say. No. It's my responsibility to fact check for you. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, وَإِذْ جَاءَكُمْ فَاسِقٌ بِنَبَإٍ فَتَبَيَّنُوا أَن تُصِيبُوا قَوْمًا بِجَهَالَةٍ فَتُصْبِحُوا عَلَى مَا فَعَلْتُمْ نَادِمِينَ. A fasiq doesn't have to know that he's a fasiq. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will tell you he's a fasiq, but he does not need to know that he's a fasiq. So what is Allah generally saying here? O you who believe, if there comes to you a man, just generally speaking, if there comes to you someone with a piece of information, فَتَبَيَّنُوا, discern between it the truth and the falsehood. Make sure that what he's saying is correct. أَن تُصِيبُوا قَوْمًا بِجَهَالَةٍ. Let's say someone comes to you now and gives you a piece of information about the Imams, alayhim as-salam. Someone later, after that, who isn't Shi'a at all, comes up to you and says, what do you believe about the Imams? And then you give that piece of information without ever having fact-checked anything at all. He could turn around and say, wow, what a weird religion. From your jahala, from your ignorance, and from the ignorance of the speaker giving you that piece of information, you could have just prevented someone from becoming guided to the haqq of Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salam. So, أن تصيبوا قوما بجهالة فتصبحوا على ما فعلتم نادمين. And you will become over what you've done regretful on Yawm al-Qiyamah. When you've spread wrong information about the Imams, the incorrect understanding of the Imams, alayhim salam, the incorrect ma'rifah of the Imams, alayhim salam. And you stand in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on Yawm al-Qiyamah. And you as a speaker, for example, let's say me as a speaker, when Allah questions me, He'll ask me, Hoshem, why did you tell them that piece of information about the Imams that is not present in my Sunnah, is in my Quran, is not present in the Sunnah of Rasulullah, nor is it present in the Sunnah of the A'imah? Why did you tell them about this information about the Imams, which has no basis in it? And I just respond, I thought it was a virtue. I wanted people to recognize that it was a virtue. And the people who were listening to that and who believed it will turn around to me on Yawm al-Qiyamah and say, we are free from you and your beliefs. So why would that leave me on Yawm al-Qiyamah? This is why it's important to fact check every piece of information someone gives to you on the minbar. And with that, brothers and sisters, we begin, inshallah. Our subject today will be about the Ghulat. Firstly, what is Ghulu and who are the Ghulat? How do we understand, what can we understand about the term Ghulu? What do we understand or know about the Ghulat? Who are they? What are their trademark beliefs that we can observe until today, for example? Their most popular beliefs. Secondly, are we meant to be lenient with the Ghulat? Is our attitude meant to be, oh, well, because they do this, then I understand why they said that? Are we meant to make justifications? Are we meant to make excuses? Thirdly, and most importantly, what did the Imams say about the Ghulat's status? Inshallah ta'ala, we will begin. Firstly, with regards to Ghulu and who the Ghulat are. Ghulu, in and of itself, is an Arabic term referring to love. Okay? In a non-religious, colloquial context, if I said that someone is a ghali, I don't mean that they are a kafir. Right? I believe that they're beloved to me. That's why I say ya ghali, for example. However, in a religious context, this love, by which is referred to as ghulu, is love for the Imams, alayhim salam, or love for the Ahl al-Bayt, alayhim salam, that exceeds the limit. I'll give you an example. Nabi Isa, alayhi salam, Isa ibn Maryam. Yeah? The Christians, when it comes to the personality of Isa ibn Maryam, alayhi salam, they call him God. Yeah? Do you think they call Jesus God because they hate Jesus Christ? Oh, I can't stand Jesus, that's why I call him God. No, that's not why they call him God. They call him God because their love for him is so extreme, it makes them forget who God is and what they are and what he was. Our love of Isa is the purest form of love. And we will come to them and we will say, no, he's not God. He is a prophet sent by God. He was the second best prophet. He, is al-Masih. He will come back in the end times. And he is Kalimatullah and he is Ruh Allah. From the Christian's perspective, he would turn around to you and say, oh, you're doing taqsir. Oh, you're a muqassir of Nabi Isa alayhi salam. You're a muqassir of Isa. But we know that because our love is based on Quran and Sunnah, what the Quran tells us, that our love is not taqsir, rather their love is ghulu. That's an example I can give you. Yeah. So when it comes to the Imams alayhim salam, the status of ghulu with the Imams is when you love them beyond what they are. When you begin to create this idealization of the Imams and place them on a pedestal that they were not there on. That they were not there on them to begin with. So we've identified what ghulu is itself. Who are the ghulat? So obviously there will be people who excessively love the Imams. But what are the types of ghulu that these people have usually? There are two types of ghulu that they have with regards to the Imams that is very famous today. And they are firstly calling the Imams Allah or using the term Rabb, that they are Arbab. And secondly, believing that they created and gave this. With regards to the ahadith, about the two types of ghulu I mentioned, we have a riwayah in Rijal al-Kashi, volume 2, hadith number 488 on page 398. And it says, قِيلَ لِلْإِمَامِ الصَّادِقِ عَلَيْهِ السَّلَامِ. It was said to Imam al-Sadiq, زَعَمَ أَبُو هَارُونَ الْمَكْفُوفِ أَنَّكَ قُلْتُ لَهُ. This guy named Abu Harun al-Makfuf claims that the Imam said to him, إِن كُنْتَ تُرِيدَ الْقَدِيمِ فَذَاكَ لَا يَدْرِكَهُ أَحَدٌ. If you want to know the pre-eternal existence, meaning existence before creation, no one will be able to know this. وَإِن كُنْتَ تُرِيدَ الَّذِي خَلَقُ رَزَقَ فَذَاكَ مُحَمَّدُ بْنُ عَلِي. If you want to know who had created and who had given rizq, then this is Muhammad ibn Ali, meaning al-Baqir alayhi salam. فقال الإمام الصادق عليه السلام. Imam al-Sadiq alayhi salam said in response to this claim, كذبوا علي عليه لعنة الله. He has lied upon me. May Allah curse him. والله ما من خالق إلا الله. By Allah, there is no creator except Allah. وحده لا شريك له. Alone with no partners. حق على الله أن يذيقنا الموت. The Imam means by the statement that it's easy for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to perish us, to make us no longer exist. This is to identify the insignificance of the Imam in aspect to the حقوق of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Yeah? So حق على الله أن يذيقنا الموت والذي لا يهلك هو الله خالق وبارئ البرية. And the one who will not perish, the one who will not be destroyed, the one who will not be dead, essentially, is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the creator and the establisher of mankind. This hadith itself identifies the fact that one, the belief in the fact that the Imams created was not even something in the time of Ar-Rida alayhi salam. Popularly, the group known as the Mufawwidha were mainly popular around the time of Imam Ar-Rida alayhi salam. However, this proves that this kind of belief existed way before the 8th Imam. This existed within the time of Imam Sadiq as well, for example. So we have Imams earlier than Imam al-Rida, because a lot of people turn around and say, well, these ahadith about Imam al-Rida, there are a lot of, I don't know, like Ummi, Muqassirin, and when they heard this hadith from Imam al-Rida, whatever, blah, 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 blah. We can immediately throw this kind of objection out by saying, no, there are people in the time of Imam al-Sadiq alayhi salam who came to him and said that you are the one who created and you are the one who gives the risk. And the Imam completely denied this claim and is free from these people. So firstly, those who believe that the Imam alayhi salam khalaqu razaq, created and gave sustenance, upon the lisan of the Imam, they are cursed. Secondly, with regards to them being God, or with regards to calling them anything similar to God, with terms like Ilah, Rabb, any of the sort, there is a hadith in Usul al-Kafi, volume 1, page 269, hadith number 6. وعن إمام الصادق عليه السلام. This is from Imam al-Sadiq. قد سأله سدير. Sudayr asked Imam al-Sadiq عليه السلام, إن قوما يزعمون أنكم آلهة. There is a people who claim that you are gods, essentially. يتلون بذلك علينا قرآنا وهو الذي في السماء إله وفي الأرض إله. They tell us that you are gods through the Quran. And he is the one who is God of the sky and God of the earth. فقال عليه السلام, the Imam said, يا صدير, O Sudayr, سمعي وبصري وبشري ولحمي ودمي وشعري من هؤلاء براء. What does the Imam say? That, O Sudayr, my hearing and my sight and my humanness itself and my flesh and my blood and my hair. Subhanallah. The Imam even has to mention the hair on his body, subhanallah. From these people are free. I have nothing to do with them. وَبَرِيءَ اللَّهُ مِنْهُمْ, and Allah is free from them. مَا هَؤُلَاء عَلَى دِينِي وَلَا عَلَى دِينِ آبَائِي. They are not upon my religion nor upon the religion of my forefathers. وَاللَّهِ لَا يَجْمَعَنِ اللَّهُ وَإِيَّاهُمْ يَوْمَ الْقِيَامَةِ إِلَّا وَهُوَ سَاخِطٌ عَلَيْهِ. And he said, by God, Allah will not gather me with these people on Yawm al-Qiyamah except that they will punish him. They will punish them for what they've said. Now, someone could turn around and say, Hoshem, this only says ilah. This has nothing to do with the term Rabb. The way we would respond to that is, congratulations. Alhamdulillah, you can read. But unfortunately, you've not applied your critical thinking skills to understand that the way that they used to claim that they are an ilah is the same way you claim that they are Rabb. Okay? Because you will say Rabb al-Ard is the Imam. Imam is the Rabb al-Ard. This ayah follows exactly the same pattern that the other ahadith, when they talk about Rabb al-Ard and you separate the two, it follows the exact same pattern. Now, Rabb itself means something or someone who had nurtured or taken care of and given sustenance to a particular piece of land, for example, or someone, right? Kama rabbayani saghira, right? As they raised me, in reference to the parents. The Imam does not create, nor does he give rizq. So there's no way that even the term Rabb could apply to the Imam. So even referring to them as Rabb in any instance, unless, for examul, it's Rabbul Wilayah, but that does not mean that you can call him Rabbi. That does not mean that you can call the Imam Rabbi, for example. Inshallah ta'ala. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad. With regards to, again, creating and giving rizq, there is another hadith from Bihar al-Anwar, volume 25, page 228. And al-Majlisi, rahimahullah, quotes this from Uyun Akhbar al-Rida. ما جيلويه عن علي عن أبيه عن ياسر الخادم رحمه الله قال قلت للرضا عليه السلام. Yasir al-Khadim said that I asked al-Rida عليه السلام ما تقول في التفويض? What do you say about تفويض? فقال إن الله تبارك وتعالى فوض إلى نبيه صلى الله عليه وآله أمر دينه. Imam al-Rida عليه السلام said that indeed Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had delegated the matters of this religion to Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alayhi. And he quotes the Quran by saying, مَا أَتَاكُمُ الرَّسُولُ فَخُذُوهُ وَمَا نَهَاكُمْ عَنْهُ فَانْتَهُوا. Whatever the Rasul gives you, take, and whatever he forbids you from, leave, or go away from it, essentially. فَأَمَّا الْخَلْقُ وَالرِّزْقُ فَلَا. In regards to creating and sustaining things, then no. ثُمَّ قَالَ عَلَيْهِ السَّلَامُ. Then he also said, إِنَّ اللَّهَ عَزَّ وَجَلَّ خَالِقُ كُلُّ شَيْءٍ. Indeed, Allah is the creator of everything. وَهُوَ يَقُولُ عَزَّ وَجَلَّ. And he said, عَزَّ وَجَلَّ, in the Quran, الَّذِي خَلَقَكُمْ ثُمَّ رَزَقَكُمْ ثُمَّ يُمِيتُكُمْ ثُمَّ يُحْيِيكُمْ هَلْ مِنْ شُرَكَائِكُمْ مَنْ يَفْعَلْ مِنْ ذَلِكُمْ مِنْ شَيْءٍ سُبْحَانَهُ وَتَعَالَى عَمَّا يُشْرِكُونَ. What does this mean? What is the significance of this ayah? When the Imam says that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the one who creates everything. One, not only does it deal with khalq and rizq, but there's a very popular attribute to the Imams that the Ghulat also attribute to the Imams. What else is this? It is that they are the ones who give life and the ones who give death, essentially. They are the ones who control whether someone lives or dies or not. Right? When the Imam uses this ayah to say that the Imam is free from this, they're saying that basically these attributes that people commonly all the time, the Ghulat attribute, the four main attributes that they attribute to the Imams, the Imam alayhi salam in one ayah is saying that we are free from you. And what does Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala say? هل من شركائكم من يفعل من ذلكم من شيء? Is there anyone who can share anything with me in this matter? No. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala clearly here is stating that He is alone in these four matters. So what do you do when you attribute these four matters to someone else? Subhanahu wa ta'ala amma yushrikun. Allah is exalted above what they are doing shirk for, essentially. They are creating polytheism within the religion of Islam. If you are to say that they are, people who have created and given rizq and given death and given life, this is not correct. So even Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is calling them mushrikeen, not just the Imam. Secondly, are we meant to be lenient with the Ghulat? Is this something that we say because a lot of people come to us and say, Hashim, we understand that they're Ghulat, okay? And we understand that they're cursed by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But they say all of this because they love Ali ibn Abi Talib. This is better than the Nawasib. They're better than the Nawasib because the Nawasib hate Ahl al-Bayt alayhim salam. At least the Ghulat love Ahl al-Bayt, Hashim. How can you say anything about this? Yes, they might be saying kufr, but at least it comes from a good place. La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. That's the only response we can say to this, really. If you're happy with shirk, because it's under a false pretense of, oh, we love Ahl al-Bayt. We love Ahl al-Bayt and everything's hunky-dory, la 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 la. If that's genuinely your excuse for shirk, you are worse than those who commit shirk. You are from them, and not only that, you are from their people at that point. You are even worse because you defend them. If you'd said ghulu to me, I would have just called you a kafir. But if there's a mu'min genuinely coming to me and saying, but Hashim, at least he loves Ahl al-Bayt, I would consider that person even worse than the Ghulat. How dare anyone justify shirk under the false pretense of, oh, we love Ahl al-Bayt? Astaghfirullah. Astaghfirullah. Have we lost our tawheed as a nation this much? That if someone was to come to you and say, Ali formed you in your womb, and you turned around and said, what the hell is this? What are you talking about, you weirdo? And someone else is like, oh, but Hashim, he loves Ahl al-Bayt, man. Get out of here, bro. Wallah, the Ahl al-Bayt are free from these kinds of people. So are we meant to be free? Are we meant to be lenient with the Ghulat? Again, in Bihar al-Anwar, volume 25, page 328, the hadith below that from Ayun Akhbar al-Rida. Muhammad ibn Ali ibn Bashar عن المفضل ابن أحمد عن العباس بن محمد بن القاسم عن الحسن بن سهل عن محمد بن حامد عن أبي هاشم الجعفري قال Abi Hashim al-Ja'fari said, I asked Abul Hasan al-Rida alayhi salam about the Ghulat and the Mufawwidah. He said, Al-Ghulat kuffar wal-Mufawwidah mushrikun. So yes, the Ghulat are kuffar. Like, for example, whoever says, I don't know, that Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salam gives life and death. Yeah? They're kuffar. Okay, sure. Or that, I don't know, the Imams alayhim salam could destroy 20 planets by their own individual power. Yeah, that's kufr. Okay. وَالْمُفَوِّضَةِ mushrikun. He makes a specific exception for the Mufawwidah. He says they are mushrikun. من جالسهم أو خالطهم أو أكلهم أو شاربهم أو واصلهم أو زوجهم أو تزوج إليهم أو أمنهم أو ائتمنهم على أمانة أو صدق حديثهم أو صدق حديثهم أو أعانهم بشطر الكلمة. What does the Imam say? Whoever sits with them, hangs around with them, talks with them, eats with them, drinks with them, travels with them, marries from them or marries people to them, or trusts them, or get others to place trust in them, or believe in their ahadith, or assist their ahadith with a single letter, خرج من ولاية الله عز وجل وولاية رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله وولايتنا أهل البيت. What do they say? They have left the wilaya of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the wilaya of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alayhi, and the wilaya of Ahl al-Bayt alayhim as-salam. And this is with regards to the Mufawwidah and the Ghulat. And you're meant to be telling me that this is because they love Ahl al-Bayt, that it's excusable. You're meant to be telling me that when someone says, my Imam is the one who creates and not Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you're meant to be telling me that I'm meant to be okay with that, or at least a little bit more lenient with them than the Nawasib because they love Ahl al-Bayt. To hell with their love of Ahl al-Bayt, their false, fake love for Ahl al-Bayt, and instead their true hatred for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The Ghulat, ashaddu min al-Nawasib. The Ghulat are worse than the Nawasib. You have to understand this. Why? Someone may ask me, Hoshem, okay, you're clearly very passionate, yeah, about the fact that someone of the Ghulat will say that he claims to love Ahl al-Bayt when in reality you think that he doesn't. Why are you this harsh with them, and why do you believe that they're worse than the Nawasib, Hoshem? All right, stop flaming me because I'm just misunderstood. It's like, no, I'll tell you why. I will tell you why they are worse than the Nawasib. The Nawasib, they fight Imam Ali ibn Abi Talib. They fight the rest of the Ahl al-Bayt alayhim as-salam. And yes, this ends up being equivalent to fighting Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, which ends up being equivalent to fighting Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But that is not an indirect challenge of the huquq, of the rights of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala over his creation. This fight is between makhluqeen. The rights of a created person over the rights of another created person. So this is a completely different field. When it comes to the Ghulat, and they claim to love Ali, claim to love Rasulullah, and claim to love Allah, and yet they say things like this about Ali ibn Abi Talib or the rest of the Imams, you are fighting between the haqq of the creator over the created. You are fighting the huquq, you are fighting huquq Allah, the rights of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala upon you. The Nawasib, at least, when they fight Ahl al-Bayt, they do not fight Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mubasharatan directly by saying that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has nothing or is nothing, or takes some of their virtues and attributes it to, I don't know, Abu Bakr or Umar or someone, for example, right? They keep the huquq of Allah intact because they're not fighting the huquq of the creator over them. They're fighting between huquq and nas. Yeah? Who has a greater standard over the other, right? When in Safin, Imam Ali alayhi salam and Muawiyah were fighting. Yes, Muawiyah was indirectly fighting Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, challenging Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But he was fighting over the haqq of Ali ibn Abi Talib on him. Why? Because he felt superior to Ali ibn Abi Talib. So the makhluqeen are fighting between huquq and nas. But the Ghulat, they fight huquq Allah azza wa jal. They are fighting the haqq of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So it's not just a thing of, oh well, Hashim, they love Ahl al-Bayt. No, this is not an excuse. This is not an excuse. May Allah curse whoever excuses a Ghali or the Ghulat with this excuse, because I'm tired of hearing it, to be honest. And I'm tired of having to explain to people how this makes no sense, and also how this is worse than Nasr, than just plain kufr. So that's with regards to leniency with the Ghulat. There are other ahadith, there are harsher ahadith that mention how you should treat a Ghali, but because of the nature of those ahadith, I don't think it's correct to narrate them to you right now. But whoever wishes to search for these more severe ahadith about the Ghulat and how you should treat them, inshallah, can do their own research, inshallah. Like I said, don't trust everything I say on the minbar. I'm telling you right now that there are harsher ahadith, and you can sit here and say, oh, well, Hashim said so. No, go and research. I'm not going to give you the information this time, because I don't think that it's right to narrate those on the minbar right now. But go do your own research as to whether there are harsher ahadith, with regards to how we should treat the Ghulat. And finally, and we will end on this, brothers and sisters. I'm sorry if I tagged you out so far. All right. What do the Imams say about the status of the Ghulat? So the hadith that I mentioned earlier, where you cannot sit with them, eat with them, etc., this also ties into that. Why? Because the status of the Ghulat is so damaging to the tashayyu' of mu'mineen that if you were to sit with them, if you were to talk with them, if you were to eat with them, if you were to marry people to them, or have or gotten married to a ghali, they can corrupt you very easily. And why can they corrupt you very easily, brothers and sisters, as I just spent the last 5 minutes ranting about? Because they claim to love Ahl al-Bayt and the Shi'a. And this is one of our faults, brothers and sisters. And we need to change this. Wallahi, for our own sakes, we need to change this attitude that we have. Whenever we hear any love of Ahl al-Bayt and any fadl of Ahl al-Bayt, we sit there and we say, MashaAllah. Or if you're from a Pakistani community, you say, Nada Hadri, and everyone says, Ya Ali. And it doesn't matter what's being said, but simply because Mawla's name is being mentioned, therefore it's a good fadila. No, it is not. I genuinely heard someone on the minbar, this kafir scholar called Ali Hamid Ja'fari, la'natullahi alayh. He was narrating some absolute mental stuff. I can't even say it on the minbar, honestly, because then you'll just start laughing and it's Ashura. That's how bad it is. And everyone sat there said, Nale Hadri Yali, wah, 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 wah. Basically praising it. And I sat there and I was shocked at how dead our critical thinking skills have come thus far as Shia. Just because, oh, the dhikr of Imam Ali is ibadah. Yes, it is ibadah, without a doubt. I'm not a muqassir, all right? Before you all come saying muqassir, muqassir. I'm not a muqassir. Dhikr of Ali alayhi salam is ibadah. But it's only ibadah when we say about Ali that which is actually true and applies to Imam Ali alayhi salam. I can't just say any random thing about Amir al-Mu'mineen and that's counted as ibadah. Please, billah alaykum, use your brains, man. Use your brains, okay? Just because someone likes Ahl al-Bayt does not mean that their likeness of Ahl al-Bayt or their love for Ahl al-Bayt is pure. And if any one of you, I swear to God, were to sit in a ghali majlis for more than 30 minutes, it's so easy for you to become corrupted. And I'm being serious. I'm being so serious when I say this. This is why the Imam said you cannot do these things with them. So with regards to that hadith, it also speaks to the status of the Ghulat, that they are a disgusting parasite in our communities that need to be squashed before more people, more genuine mu'mineen, get pulled into this, subhanAllah, I don't even have the word for it, this kufr, this ignorance. With regards to the ahadith about the Ghulat, the status of the Ghulat, in Rijal al-Kashi, page 106, entry 170 to 174, قال الصادق عليه السلام, Imam al-Sadiq said, may Allah curse Abdullah ibn Saba. إنه أدعى الربوبية. Indeed, he attributes rububiyyah. What is rububiyyah? Saying Allah is Rabb. إنه أدعى الربوبية في أمير المؤمنين عليه السلام, to Imam Ali. He attributes الربوبية to Imam Ali. وكان والله أمير المؤمنين عليه السلام عبدا لله طائعا. And indeed, Ali ibn Abi Talib عليه السلام was a servant was an obedient servant of God. الويل لمن كذب علينا. Woe to those who lie upon us. وَإِنَّ قَوْمًا يَقُولُونَ فِينَا. And indeed, the people say about us, مَا لَا نَقُولُهُ فِي أَنفُسِنَا. What we do not say for ourselves. نَبْرَأُ إِلَى اللَّهِ مِنْهُمْ وَنَبْرَأُ إِلَى اللَّهِ مِنْهُمْ. We disassociate from them, we disassociate from them. قال عليه السلام, Imam al-Sadiq عليه السلام also said, أُحْذِرُوا عَلَى شَبَابِكُمُ الْغُلَاتِ لا يفسدونهم. Warn your children or warn the young men of our generation about the Ghulat so that they don't become victim to their fasad, to their corruption. فَإِنَّ الْغُلَاتِ شَرُّ خَلْقِ اللَّهِ. The Ghulat are the worst of the creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The worst. There's no exception. No little Nasibi comes into the picture here. There's no exception. Muawiyah ibn Abi Sufyan isn't trying to sneak in there. No, he's not. There's no exception to this. The Ghulat are the worst of creation. يُصَغَّرُونَ عَظْمَةِ اللَّهِ. They belittle the greatness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَيَدَّعُونَ الرُّبُوبِيَّةِ لِعِبَادِ اللَّهِ. And they call for rububiyyah to the servants of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Wallahi inna al-ghulat. By Allah, indeed the ghulat, sharrun min al-yahud wal-nasara wal-majus wal-ladhina ashraku. The ghulat are worse by God than the Jew, the Christian, the Majusi, the Zoroastrian, and the mushrikeen, wal-ladhina ashraku. Subhanallah. And that was in Kitab al-Amani by Shaykh al-Tusi, page 650, hadith number 1349. And the next hadith after that in the same book, hadith number 1350, ثم قال عليه السلام, Imam al-Sadiq, إلينا يرجع الغالي فلا نقبله. The Imam alayhi salam, Imam al-Sadiq says, if the Ghali were to return to us, then we would not accept him. وبنى يلحق المقصر فنقبله. And if the Muqassir were to come back to us, we would accept him. فقيل له كيف ذلك ابن رسول الله. It was said to Imam Sadiq, how is this even the case, O son of Rasulullah? The Imam said, قال لأن الغلاة قد اعتاد ترك الصلاة والزكاة والصيام والحج. He says, because the ghulat are firm upon how they've left the salah, on how they've left zakah, on how they've left fasting or abandoned fasting and hajj. فَلَا يَقْدِرُ عَلَى تَرْكِ عَادَتِهِ. So he will not be able to come out of this habit of leaving salah and all these other things. وَعَلَى رَجُوعِ إِلَى طَاعَةِ اللَّهِ عَزَّ وَجَلَّ أَبَدًا. And will never be able to come back to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala at all. وَإِنَّ الْمُقَصِّرِ, indeed the muqassir, إِذَا عَرَّفَ عَمَلْ وَأَطَاعَ. If the muqassir comes back and understands his amal, and understands that he was a muqassir, that he was doing taqsir, and he comes back, then he'll be able to do all those things. He'll be able to work towards the haqq of the Imam alayhi salam. So the ghali is worse than the muqassir as well. In the Pakistani community especially, you'll hear a lot of things about the muqassirin. Yeah? Muqassirun ki maut, which means, in translation, death to the muqassirs, and, bar muqassirin lanat, which means, may God curse the muqassirin. But here the Imam is saying, no, hold on a second, 1 second. If the muqassir came back to our haqq, we would accept him. We would accept him. If the ghali came back to our haqq, we would never accept him. Why? Because he would never be able to give it up. He would never be able to give up the fact that he's left salah, zakah, hajj, fasting. So the ghali is worse than the muqassir as well. And unfortunately, this will be hard to understand from some Pakistani communities. But you have to teach this. You have to teach this. The ghulat are worse than the muqassirin. And the next hadith, 1350, it says, أخبرنا الحسين ابن عبيد الله عن علي بن محمد العلوي قال حدثنا أحمد بن عمر بن إبراهيم بن هاشم عن أبيه عن جده إبراهيم بن هاشم عن أبي أحمد الأزدي عن عبد الصمد بن بشير عن سعد بن الطريف عن الأصبغ بن نباتة قال أصبغ بن نباتة قال said that Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salam said, Allahumma inni bari'un min al-ghulat. Indeed, I am free from the ghulat. Kabara'ati Isa ibn Maryam min al-Nasara. How Isa alayhi salam is free from the Christians. Allahumma akhzallahum abadan wa la tansir minhum ahada. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, take them all into punishment. وَلَا تَنْصِرْ مِنْهُمْ أَحَدًا, and do not assist any one of them. This, in and of itself, encapsulates the attitude of the Imams towards the Ghulat and their status. They are like the Christians who worship Isa ibn Maryam. And indeed, the Imams alayhim salam are free from them. So now, to conclude, brothers and sisters, we as Shia, what is our attitude meant to be towards the Ghulat? One, our belief is, as the Imams alayhim salam have said, they are mushrikun. They are polytheists. And they are the worst of creation. We are not to sit with them. We are not to talk with them, eat with them, marry from them or marry to them. We are not to sit in their majalis. If there is a mahfil and ghulu is being spread, it is wajib on you as a Shi'a of Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salam to leave that mahfil and to warn others about that mahfil. You cannot sit there and listen to that. Are we meant to be lenient with the ghulat? Not at all. As the ahadith have shown, there is no reason to show leniency to these kuffar, these zanadiqa. It's wajib on you to hate them more than you hate the Nasibi. Yes, it is wajib on you to hate them more than you hate the Nawasib. If your love for Ahl al-Bayt is pure, that will lead you to hate the Ghulat more than the Nawasib. And I'm being serious. There are so many Shia who sit here and say, Hoshem, I know what you're saying, but I just can't bring myself. I can't do it. Can't bring myself. Ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. There's no excuse. If you love Ahl al-Bayt, if you claim to love Ahl al-Bayt, it is wajib on you. It's wajib on you to hate them more than the Nawasib. Those who compare Ahl al-Bayt to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Astaghfirullah. And because of this quote-unquote love, makes it far easier for them to misguide our Shia. They are worse than the Nawasib. And they can guide to kufr easier than the Nawasib. So it's wajib on you to hate them more than you hate the Nawasib. And finally, the status of the Ghulat, worse than the Munqassireen, worse than the Christians and the Jews and the Zoroastrians, and worse than the Mushrikeen. And again, they are the worst of the creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And before I end this lecture, inshallah, I'd like to take a few minutes of your time to remember the loneliness of Abu Abdullah alayhi salam. For many people, either today or yesterday was Ashura. This was the moment where the trembling of the voice of Ali al-Akbar alayhi salam in the adhan resonated throughout the plains of Karbala. At dawn, Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam finds that his backbone has been killed from the Euphrates River on the way back to the tents of Bani Hashim. He walks around, frantically checking within the tents if there's anyone to help Abu Abdullah. He goes out onto the battlefield, and the call from Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam arrives. هل من ناصر ينصرنا? Is there anyone who can help us? We are the sons of Bani Hashim. We are the sons of Bani Hashim. We are alone, abandoned. Ya Abu Abdullah. How could they let you die thirsty? The pigs and the dogs could drink from the river of the Euphrates, subhanAllah. How could this happen? The angels are ready to grieve over Abu Abdullah. The skies are ready to cry blood over Abu Abdullah. And it's with that I conclude, inshallah. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala curse the Nawasib, who ended up killing Abu Abdullah. May Allah curse the Ghulat, who claimed that the sacrifice of Abu Abdullah on Yawm al-Qiyamah meant nothing, and that he is alive, he didn't die. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala curse the Ghulat, who are generally attributing lies towards the A'immah alayhim as-salam. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless the mu'mineen and the mu'minat. We cry over Abu Abdullah and pray for his safety. Pray for his prayed for his safety during the times of Karbala. Prayed that they could be with them in Karbala. ولعنة الله على القوم الظالمين وسيعلم الذين ظلموا أي منقلب ينقلبون. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى محمد.